So I started my first YouTube channel about 5 months ago, and I was like, I can totally do this. Like, this is gonna be easy. I just need to be consistent. Maybe I'm gonna need some gear, but for the most part, I can totally do this. I was at the cusp of turning 40, and I felt like I had a lot to say, and I kind of like didn't really find a lot of things online about turning 40 and kind of like all the things that you go through and all the things that you leave behind. And I felt this calling to show up, share my story, share my thoughts, kind of take up more space. And I talked about that in my very first video. So I was like, totally, I can do this. But 5 months later, I can say that I've utterly failed at it. I've been in the process of like overthinking it, over critiquing, over criticizing myself. Because I'm going to tell you that the confidence of a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old on YouTube is very different from the confidence of a 40-year-old. So I think that primarily I noticed that I really thought that YouTube would be easy because, again, I have the stories and I like kind of knew what I wanted to talk about, and I know how to talk and I know how to storytell. But then putting it on the internet was just so different because there's this expectation that at 40, like, you should know everything. Not everything, but you should know your stuff pretty well by now. And I just kind of imagine like all these other people with more experience, or with their lives sort of like put together more than mine, just critiquing me. And I realized that that was my inner critic, critiquing me and really judging me. So that was one thing that made it really hard. And then the second reason that I really wanted to be on here was to take up space and just be a little bit more visible outside of like the things that I normally do day to day. So outside of my work, outside of my activities. I don't know, I feel like that I can be really outgoing and very personable, but there's something that is really difficult about taking up space and being seen. Like, I think that, I don't even post on the internet. I barely have an Instagram account. Like, I'm just that kind of person who doesn't put stuff out there. And I really wanted to create this video to find an outlet to just start putting myself out there, because at the end of the day, like, no one really cares that much. And I wanted to embody that. I wanted to be like, you know what? I feel really good about myself. The next step is to really start putting myself out there. And a part of me was like, oh my God, I'm 40 years old and I still can't do this. So something that I'm still struggling with and working on as I figure out this YouTube channel. Another thing that made it really hard for me was like all of this self-doubt that would creep in. So at this point, I can't really remember how much I've shared, but I am 40 years old and I am single, divorced, if that even makes a difference. I think that the word divorce is so at this point, I mean, I don't know if I've shared this, but I am single, I am childless by circumstance, and I feel like there's a lot to talk about in that area, but also I didn't realize how difficult it would be, again, to take up space in that sort of a space where it's much different than being single and childless in your late 30s. I think that right now I'm starting to really question a lot of myself, like a lot of my choices, a lot of my decisions, and trying to figure out like where I am and what I'm okay with. And that in turn has made it really hard for me to figure out how I wanted to speak authentically because I found myself still trying to understand myself. So I think that all that to say that YouTube has been really hard, and that the reason I'm here is because I really wanted this creative outlet. I wanted a place where I could just be really authentic. I feel like so many people on the internet just all sound the same, look the same, talk about the exact same thing. And there's something about getting older and you're just kind of like done with it. I've been through all of that, all of the influencers, all the trends, all the clickbait, and you're kind of just looking for something real. So I was hoping that I could provide that, or I could do that at least. No goals for this channel, just trying to show up, just trying to talk and find confidence and speak from a place of true authenticity. Yeah, so I don't really have any goals with this channel, especially with YouTube's like new monetization requirements, I don't think I'm anywhere near being monetized, and I'm okay with that for now. But yeah, so just some thoughts about like, I don't know, about turning 40 and starting YouTube and trying to figure out like where all this is going and where you stand in all of it. So I hope to be back. I hope to make more channels, more videos. So I hope to be back, and I hope to be a little bit more consistent, even if it means starting small. And just always remembering that no one really cares that much, and the people who are interested and resonate, those are the ones that you want to, you know, hang out with you on YouTube. And it's as simple as that. So I started my first YouTube channel about 5 months ago, and I was like, I can totally do this.